Chapter 7, Energetic Existence, Part 2. From Tenet 23, maintaining this universe becomes much more important to us. Your brain becomes your universe of existence. I enjoy referring to it as a galaxy with many points to connect. You become more important. The Earth and all the people on it become more important. You may think that you're unimportant, and in part you are right. And yet you still must understand that people love to live and live to love. And they are not always aware of this. And it manifests itself in some ugly ways these days. That is why I do not restate the golden rule. People must realize somehow why they are so valuable and why others deserve the same respect, since all of this is up to us anyway. Work becomes what you do for the human race since you are here. Hopefully you enjoy it. If not, then try to find some way to, or get a new job until you find something that is right for your qualifications. From Tenet 24, social gatherings become more meaningful when based on true energetic fulfillment, not based on blatant disrespect of other humans on this planet and not churches as they exist today. The Earth actually becomes a very interesting place to discover by way of knowledge and travel. We need to make this much easier and more common in schools, especially where there are at-risk youth. They need to see this world for what it is more than anyone. From Tenet 25, the energetic patterns that you express become forms of love as you love everything to different degrees. Abuse victims know this all too well. From Tenet 26, many things become seemingly pointless. Life becomes a splendid coincidence for anyone who can understand what a splendid coincidence is. From Tenet 27, the planet gains more of your respect. You become more aware of the positions that you put yourself in and the positions that you would love to move away from physically and or mentally. You become more aware of the positions that you put other energetic beings into. Your mental life becomes yours. It is the most important thing to understand as thoroughly as possible. Those who do not understand their brain usually find themselves victims of it. The position you were born into becomes clearer, and you can inform others that you are not the position you were born into as those around you continue to pound this into your mental existence. Lastly, from Tenet 28, you find that you have more energy than you know what to do with. Originally, we invented gods to deal with the questions. These things still need to change, referring to what I'm about to start reading. What you lose, I have mentioned almost to the point of exhaustion. In giving you energeticism, you will shed beliefs that have been placed upon you as a result of thoughts that are many millennia old, like the idea that if you are a different color or a woman, then you are to be treated differently. Women do ask to be treated with respect all over the world, and this they do deserve for accepting the position that they were born into, to create, carry, and produce human life. A woman, though the feeling is usually incredibly strong, is not required to care for this life, but may take responsibility for it by making sure that it is taken care of in some way. How she does this is up to her. Women are not bound by their position, however difficult it may be to realize this. It means that women can do whatever they want just like any other organism and are free to do so like any other organism. Ideas on color can be dropped immediately. Energeticism is about what not to believe as much as it is about what to believe. If you want to believe in ethnic cleansing or war against humans and that a false deity may fix it someday, then you really cannot help those whom you sit back and judge. You have all rights to do so, if that is what you would want others to do while you were being sodomized and tortured. Others could then sit back and judge you. Funny thing is, this used to be our form of justice and still is in many parts of the world, even in America. Open your eyes and your mouth. Who do you really want to believe? Some people who made up a bunch of stories while spilling tons of innocent blood and taking all of your money? Or some honest, hardworking people who rigorously study everything as objectively as they can to gain new and clearer perspective into our past, present, and future? You go to school. You learn science. You learn how to study everything around you and within you, literally. Study versus story. I feel it. Can you? The tension is present at this point where you believe what you want and I do the same. Not this time. I want you to remember why we are questioning the study and the story. It is all about what they pertain to. You see, stories are great at bedtime, so we used to think that some God put us here and that we were blessed and that we were the only living things in the world, which we thought was flat. We thought that the entire human race came from two people, which by research standards is both impossible and would be quite deleterious, counterproductive, to forming a race of billions. God, in quotes, becomes like the tooth fairy. God, again in quotes, was a thing we once believed in because we could not understand as humans how or why we came to be. We thought that something much greater than us had to create us. We couldn't imagine that the universe has the ability to create life, organic matter, from non-living material, and then evolve into an organism that contemplates the fact that this occurred at all. We are the universe aware of itself. In our position, there is nothing else out here but universal material of which we are made. And we are all aware, to certain extents, of different things in our mental and physical environments, our spheres of existence. I am so gosh darn sick of people surrounding me and pounding me with this junk they call religion and faith. Blind are those who try to convince others of things that they cannot come close to proving. There are so many things that are so much more real, revealed by this life so far. Humans have always been stupid as stupid does, especially as a race. Their deceit must come to an end, and someone or some assemblage of people must aid in helping the world to realize the error of their ways. Our mental universe must change. This is more of a hobby than anything, for the mere fact that there truly is no purpose to anything. Humans superimpose purpose onto everything that they encounter and create imaginary things onto which they also superimpose purpose. If you are not loving in light of this, then you are hating. It feels like I'm starting from scratch every time I write because I can't quite figure out how to express to the world all at once that these gods that don't exist, yet you still believe in them, don't seem to have anything to do with any of us mere mortals. Innocent minds and skin are torn every day for thousands of years in the name of some false apparitions who are to be worshipped because humans can't accept nothing. That's right, the idea nothing, to put it plainly. That nothing is strange, huh? Where did it come from? Nothing is our envelope. It reminds us that there truly is no point to any of this, yet we create points, and with those points come purposes, survival and reproduction. You have new fears that I would like to inform you of. They are nothing, now, and infinity. Listen, you, I've written this before, I know. The past does not exist because it is not now. Same for the future. The future does not equal now. The past does not equal now. Therefore, neither actually exists at all. Books and buildings remind us that now was another time, that now existed in different forms. We thought that there were things we should know and do at different now points, so we wrote and built patterns to remind us at later moments, like these that you are experiencing now. Time is the use of many measurement systems to mark points where now has been and will be. We are now trackers. Remember, now, nothing, and infinity. Your new fears. Por ejemplo. That means, for example, in Spanish. You would say that your house exists now. I ask, did your house exist yesterday? You say, why, yes, it did. It used to exist in the past. You would not say, yes, it does exist yesterday. You say, it did, because yesterday is gone. Then I can ask, will your house or cardboard box exist tomorrow? Well, you sure hope so, and guess what? Too much hope without action, and one does not get very far while floating in the depths of the isms. So, now is when all the something in the universe changes. For the sake of worship, I should capitalize universe. Since I am doing so now, I would like you along with me to initiate the decapitalization of God, my term and word, I think, and the capitalization of the universe. Thank you. That example, universe was capitalized and God was not, and it was in quotes. Now is this very moment that is infinitely divisible. Check it. A full second does not exist because it can be divided into two. The two parts can be divided into two. The four resulting segments of time cannot all exist at the same time. These moments do not actually exist, and we are really riding change like a universal temporal wave. So take one of those four pieces. I will remind you that that is a quarter second in the way I am using time at the moment, and call it now, and divide that into four pieces. Then take one of those four pieces and divide it into four pieces. Then take one of those little tiny segments of time and call it now. This is how you perfect any art, by the way, by understanding how small a moment is or is not, and using those moments to make the proper adjustments for change. That means that every living thing has the ability to appear to move fast in some way, physically and or mentally, to another living thing. Because who is to say that anything is fast at all? Of course, in this we have limits of what we can do. The point is that whatever we do, we always do it now, and most of what we attempt to call now actually does not exist. Clearly, we see the effects of the past. Those effects also exist now. I shake my head at your supreme lack of understanding. This information alone should take you very far. I just don't understand how humans can be so sickly stupid. Hey, if you're not, then don't be offended. I only want you and the entire human race to wise up. The point is to help everyone to live decent in the now right now, because most of us here on earth live in such miserable conditions inside and out, physically and mentally. If you bought this, please know that I will be doing so much with the proceeds to change how we all live, but must do it on my terms. People have messed up for too long, and it is time for the layperson to know the truth from the bottom up. I should say, the lame person. The world needs to know that God never was. We are here with our plants and animals to live, and many of us die on this coincidental planet. And that, my friend, is the pointless truth. Enjoy freedom. We are literally the universe looking at itself. And when do we do that? Now, and only now.
The past, that was a second ago and written on caves. Now is this infinitely divisible moment that we live in. The future, well, that's what we dream about.
So, why infinity, you say? Well now, as you now know, understand, and may later extrapolate, look it up if you need to, this moment that we experience is infinitely divisible. Or maybe you were not able to figure that one out from the above info. Now is infinitely small and is the only moment that actually exists, and it is where you, equal to your awareness, you are awareness, exist, infinitely small. You may think you are big in size, awareness, and importance, but it is all just illusion. Back to infinity. Check this out. Now could not really have had a beginning, and that is where we lose many of you to God as you fail to see the apparent truth, my phraseology, that now, time equal to change, had no beginning for this simple reason. In order for something to begin, something must initiate it. Well then, if there was an initiator, what initiated the initiator, and so on? Apparently, there cannot be a beginning. So, the past, which does not exist, is infinite. And that, I have found, seems to be scarier to most people than any wrath of God, which is not apparent. As to whether all molecules will go into equidistant stasis or complete their entropic journey in billions of years is so far from now that it barely even is worth the thought of our simple little seemingly cruel to each other minds, okay? So, change will be occurring, and now will seem to move right along, long enough for us to see and learn enough to know that we had better find a new place to live if we want to see much more, okay? Entropy is when everything cannot move because every little particle is far enough away to have zero gravitational and electromagnetic attraction, which you will learn to love and learn it as love itself upon the others. And that would occur with the billions of galaxies that exist in the parts of the universe that we can see. All known matter would come to a standstill. Until then, please try to stop worshiping stupid, unverifiable ideas, especially as part of your foundation of beliefs. I only want us to be better by changing our minds about what we are now. The universe aware of itself now. I will capitalize universe as I feel it is deserving. How does it look? Watch this. And in this example, I write God in small letters. and I write universe with a capital U, and then I say that I prefer it, and then I take us back to infinity. Time has an infinite past and an infinite future, neither of which actually exist. The moment that does exist is infinitely divisible, and that infinitely divisible moment is when the entire universe changes, and it is when you think you might want another beer by utilizing many of those moments that you think thus. It also seems to be the moment when some decide that they would enjoy attacking another person or country or town in the name of some false made-up construct from some belief system. You are stuck here, or obliged to be here, in the middle of infinity with all of us, 7 billion strong and growing fast. Apparently, the universe that you see in the sky is infinite as well. If it is finite, then what is beyond its finite boundary? What would the universe be contained in? For now, we will just call it more universe that cannot have an end because nothing or something would have to be beyond that end. Are you getting any of this? This is supposed to stop you from being a racist, stupid, school-hating retard and having retarded children and teaching your retarded children retarded things that you didn't learn in school because school sucks and teachers suck. Okay? And you teach your retarded children that school sucks, and they teach their children that teachers suck and police suck and government sucks, so they never get into any of it, and that God, which is nowhere, is the way to Crapville infinitely. By the way, all that cutting of time is called infinite regression. Tell it to your kids as a bedtime story. I'll bet they'll love it. There are so many ways to tell it. Remember the frog. I am pretty sure that I mentioned something about nothing earlier in this book, and of course it has worked its way into recognition here. The artichoke loves the idea of nothing. For purposes of this book, I will first tell you before I confuse you that nothing is the absence of something. I think it sounds simple that way, but it gets muddled in our minds when we ask if nothing exists. Well, no. Nothing does not exist because it is not a thing to exist. So then, how can it be real, you may say? And around we go, simply denying that something exists within nothing, simply. See, space and astronomy, and I am not denying current dark matter research. For some reason, I believe that the realization of how much nothing there is, wink, matched with infinite time and the only moment that the universe changes should put some pretty interesting things into perspective for you, as well as being plenty to fear. For example, as much as you know, you have not been here for an infinite past and will not be here for an infinite future, and that is truly as much as we can know. Is it not strange to exist at this moment only? I think it is, as I am typing this. In light of this, I will tell you an anecdote. I turned the television on to a national broadcast of a religious, what do you call it, congregational ceremony, not ceremony, sermony. That's what I wrote. I wrote sermony, and I accidentally read it as ceremony myself. That's why I put the note in there. Sunday service mass thingamabob. And I overheard the pastor preacher person say that he was terrified of eternal death in nothingness, as he went on to talk about other possible options. I just about cried at hearing this from a man who everyone is to respect, who cannot handle this thought. Energeticism really doesn't offer any possible options for you to rely on. We all only seem to know this life, and ghosts are not popping out of the woodwork to let us know that it is a joyride waiting for us. But you know what? I can only entertain this fallaciousness when I know that you understand it as such, and that it is old news. This life is what we are somehow aware of in the middle of an infinite universe. I think that there is enough ambiguity in the superfluous material here to attract all kinds of fanatics. This fanaticism is not to be turned upon yourself. Enjoy and love yourself. So I hope you have initial fears of these ideas, as it seems like many do. I'm pretty settled with them and love to converse and yak about them. Now, infinity, and nothing. In all that, we apparently are something. Additionally, we need Guji Ahad to stop blowing himself up in the name of Islam and the jihads and all that nonsense. Will that be okay? Can we ask that? Help the world, people. I cannot change minds alone. Send information. Send every bit of information that is shocking to the mind in its position so that we may all grow up together to realize that we are children. There is a lot of work to be done, and there always will be. 0 casualties, please. See Gandhi, the book or the movie, and prepare for a long, good cry. Men. Let's make this planet a mental battleground where people are not casualties, but ideas and beliefs are. I say this now after I have possibly stirred up your mental existence. You are not my enemy. There are many energetic patterns in the way of thoughts, ideas, and beliefs that deserve to be dealt with and disposed of mentally. Energetic existence is simply being human and acknowledging everyone else as such. Can you feel the door swinging open already? I feel like I am done with that, but you still may not grasp what I am trying to say. If not, call me, email, postmail me, attend an event or one of my 10th gatherings before I die, and I can try to elaborate. I am pretty sure you are to fear these universal truths more than some made-up thing of cruel tribespeople, okay? Take that to the bank and save it. There is one type of realization that I feel I have left out of this energetic existence chapter. It comes in here because I think you need to understand all that other stuff before you get to something like this. If you think you are something already, then you probably will not really understand that you become other things that you come into contact with. You become everything that you are aware of itself. Other living things become you aware of yourself. All you have around you are patterns. You do not have an identity. You try to assign one by using these patterns, but do not think about that. Imagine looking at a rock. That rock is not aware, right? You are aware of it. The rock is part of this universe, and so are you. You are aware, and it is not. You are aware of this part of the universe that is not aware of itself. The whole time, the universe is aware of the rock through you. The patterns of this particular rock have entered another part of the universe, you, and this rock is now aware of itself as the universe has become aware of it through you. Don't you wish you could move it without touching it? This gets really interesting when it's two people who are each other aware of themselves, and this is so much to be aware of. Many very interesting things happen when you become someone else aware of themselves and they become you aware of yourself. That is how you are everything around you aware of itself. Inanimate objects are not alive and not aware, and when we happen upon them, we become their patterns aware of themselves. We always call ourselves the patterns that we are aware of, like black and woman and slow learner.
Ever notice when you go to another geographic location and you start acting like the people that you have encountered when you did not act like that before? You have become their patterns aware of themselves through you. You do not have an identity to really speak of, and that is your best chance at freedom. Why stay chained? Oh yeah, like a horse who's been corralled their entire life, you know nothing different. Why run from what you know? Hopefully, by the end of all this, you will be running very fast, knowing that you are bound to encounter what you used to call yourself. So, do not run in fear of yourself, but run in liberation to something else with the best understanding that you can conjure of the self that you are running from and why. You cannot run from yourself. No matter where you go, there you are. With this above realization, I feel that it may be difficult to see the beauty, wonder, and mystery that it entails for your continued existence here on earth. You are these words, aware of themselves. Whoever said that there would be no mystery within energeticism? There are plenty of mysteries here. Only here, the factors are real and the results are real. You get to be the universe aware of itself for a while. While this might not seem that major at the moment, it is how you do all that you are able to do in the way of energetic manipulation of objects, people, organism, thoughts, ideas, etc. You may feel a little overwhelmed if you have never really made this real to yourself, realization. In other words, if you think your hand is you, then the paper that you pick up is also you. The air may as well be you, since you are moving it in the same way that you move your arm. Your mind has the ability to convince you that you are a rock, and you empathize with what a rock would be like in its existence. Ironically, the rock has a lot to teach us, as do all the universal patterns that are not human, like trees, water, grass, all the other species of animals and how they behave, etc. There is plenty to be while you are here on this planet. Understand that you can do and experience anything that you wish, especially mentally, but you will always remain an awareness of all that you wish to be. It only feels like we are the energetic patterns that we experience, and we define existence through these experiences. This may help a little more. You are your body aware of itself. Your body moves because you and your brain are aware of it. A brick moves because you move your body to move the brick. The brick moved because you were aware of it. It is this idea that will give you control over all that you call yourself and is really not yourself at all. You may move the parts of you like you move a brick. Just move it. You are the patterns in your head aware of themselves. Without your and your brain's awareness, those patterns are active in your brain. You are your brain aware of itself. You are the universe aware of itself, while in most places in the universe, it has not become aware of itself. And here we are. If you understand this well enough, then your level of empathy for yourself and others should skyrocket. Not sympathy, although deserved, empathy. When 7 billion people are the universe becoming aware of itself, we can seem like a very ominous presence. Do you feel it? In everything you do, you are some aspect of the universe becoming aware of itself. We already do this. We are just not very aware of it. It is what we do instinctively as organisms. All life does this. All life becomes some aspect of the universe aware of itself. When you understand the above, your curiosity returns.
In the event that you were wondering where it went, sunsets on planets do not become aware of themselves often in this universe that we know of. Everything you touch, taste, smell, feel, see, imagine, the sound you produce is that energetic aspect of the universe becoming aware of itself through you. You are what energy does. Thus, many things become much easier to understand. I sincerely hope this aspect of energetic existence is comprehensible to you. I am not you aware of yourself right now unless we are talking, literally, right now, coincidentally, while you are listening to this audiobook. I am someone else aware of itself right now, wherever I am. Some of the things that I am aware of right now probably have something to do with you, though. I assure you, this is one of my favorite parts of energeticism, being the universe aware of itself everywhere I go. With this, we move on to something you were not expecting to see. More material presented in another way for you to munch on mentally. And that concludes Chapter 7, Energetic Existence.